Welcome. Episode 4 kind of vibes up in here. We're talking the Buzzer Heater podcast. Follow us on Twitter at BuzzerHeaters. Follow us on Instagram also at BuzzerHeaters. If you guys don't know us by now, we are 6 college kids giving our takes on sports the college way. We're college kids. We grew up in the social media era. We don't want to fucking listen to Colin Cowherd anymore. He's 59 years old. I don't even know. That was a made-up number. But he's old. He's on a Peloton all day. I don't care what he talks about, dude. We are college kids. We'll give you our perspective from our minds. We grew up differently. We look at the world differently. And you know what? Today's episode is going to be a little different with our topic. So today we're going to be talking about most hated athletes. And I know this is really direct, and we're going to go straight off the bat with this one. But what I have to say is fuck Grayson Allen. I love his work ethic. I respect it. But don't trip fuckers on the court. It's not a class act. He played for Coach K. He should fucking learn how to handle himself on a basketball court. Don't be a bitch. There's no way that guy got any ass at college. He's a good-looking dude, but he is too arrogant and full of himself. Not about him. I hope he succeeds in the NBA. I hope he succeeds. I love him on the Memphis Grizzlies, but him at Duke, not about it at all.
I totally agree. Competitiveness is a part of every sport, but there's a point where you take it too far. And
Respect the
Grayson
game.
Allen
Respect the
is
game.
Epitome of that, and I've lost tons of respect for him. I think he was a great player in college. I don't think his game translated to the NBA as much, and quite frankly, I think he's just a bad dude overall.
He made himself look like a bad dude when he was at college. That's a fact.
Yeah. That is a fact. And he was that typical small guard from Duke that everyone hated because he was good, but he was a piece of shit. He was so full of himself, which doesn't make sense because Coach K is such feels like such a down-to-earth guy. But like he keeps
a great player, though.
He keeps having. But
Grayson was really good.
But Duke consistently has villains. They keep having villains year after year.
Be this guy's teammate.
You know what?
He was the face of the Duke community. He was a villain to everyone else in college, and he was just a classic Duke player.
Classic Duke player.
Yeah, maybe on the court.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know if the Duke villains are loved at their schools. I know for a fact that J.J. Redick would say, like, sometimes in, like, the lunchroom, like, the lunch people would be like, oh, nice game last night, like when he did something bad or something like that.
You know what? I'll be here to defend Grayson Allen.
Okay.
He was a hell of a basketball player. He had his mishaps. He tripped a couple dudes. He's just a competitor. That's what it comes down to. When you're an 18-year-old competitor, you'll do whatever it takes.
He is young.
I am for
How do you turn out in the NBA?
You know, it's
He's
been
young, he's young.
1 year. If he develops into a role player, that's more than most people expected. I'm on the Grayson Allen.
Do you guys remember in 2016 on February 8th, he was assessed a flagrant foul after he just tripped Ray Spalding of the Louisville Cardinals?
And it's not
he just
like
tripped him.
And it's not like this is a one-time incident thing.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
multiple times.
No, he did the same thing back in 2018,
Yep.
March
There you
9th,
go.
in the ACC tournament. He just
Unbelievable.
hip-checked Garrison Brooks. Like, what the hell is he doing?
Disrespectful to the game.
Like, he's not in the WWE hip-checking fuckers.
Yeah.
He's not in the NFL. You don't tackle people. You're in not even the NBA. You're playing college basketball at a high level.
Yeah.
Love the competitiveness, but like Aaron Kraft was a fucking class act at Ohio State. That man would dive on the floor. He was a teammate. He was in college for 74 years, 100%. He was in college forever. But Grayson Allen was one of those guys that you just didn't respect the work ethic because it was just annoying.
If you want to be a basketball player, be a fucking hooper and get your buckets.
Don't
be a fucking cheap shot.
Agreed.
I can speak for the love of the game that this guy has. When it comes down to it, the players that love the game the most.
What game are we talking about? Wrestling?
Basketball. The ones
I
that
agree.
love the game of basketball the most are the ones that are super passionate about it, and they're the ones chirping out there on the court. They're the ones tripping motherfuckers. They do whatever it takes to get the W, to get your team to be excited to play for you.
Scoring
I'm all for
It's like
everything
he's
that
passionate
he
about
does.
the wrong thing.
Scoring, I have a question for you. What helped your team better? Playing great defense compared to getting a technical foul, 2 free throws for the other team,
And the
losing
ball.
your mind.
And the
And
ball.
the
And losing your
ball.
mind. He's a teammate nightmare.
Like, why not just keep
Nightmare.
control
Let me respond.
and
Let
not
me
poison
respond.
He's
your
like,
team?
he's Odell level.
You
Let
might
me-
defend your team,
let-
but in the important moments,
no doubt.
it's point by point.
Let me respond.
Okay, go for it.
There is a situation where you need a guy that's going to stand up for your team, that's going to not take any BS, that's going to fight back to the
4-0.
opponent.
They're
No,
How
let
tall
me
is Grayson
finish.
Allen? How tall
It
is
doesn't.
Grayson
That
Allen?
doesn't mean anything.
5'10".
He's not scaring anyone.
He's 6'4".
He's
He's
not
6'4".
scaring
He's
anyone.
6'4".
He shouldn't be doing that.
Time
He's
out.
Not good enough.
He's not
You
good
have-
enough.
in the NBA.
Not
He
good
was
enough.
in college.
Oh my god.
He was fine in college. He's nothing in the NBA. Keep on
Did
going.
not let me
His take is not
finish.
good.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him
Did
finish.
not let me finish.
Let's hear. Let's hear.
He's the man they need to stick up for his teammates. He doesn't take any BS. He's their top scorer. He's the best player on the team, and he sticks up for his teammates. What else could you ask for in a teammate?
I will say,
He's
new
not,
era sports, the enforcer is dead. It's not a thing anymore.
He doesn't need to be an enforcer. He's
That's
just
what he took the role as, and I didn't like
Who would
it.
I rather have on my side?
Grayson Allen or
Grayson Allen or like Dennis Rodman?
Dude,
Right?
you
What
don't
are you
compare.
comparing?
LeBron James.
All right.
Wait, like Grayson Allen's not doing anything for me.
Time out.
Listen.
Whoa.
All right. We're gonna move on. We're gonna
What
move
is
on.
Grayson Allen doing for me?
Listen, we're gonna move on. But since you brought up like LeBron James, Joel Embiid,
For an enforcer?
listen, bro, we're gonna be talking about another and like an actual NBA legend, not a bum like Grayson Allen. We're gonna be talking about NBA legend Paul Pierce. Didn't have a problem with him on the court, but as an announcer, I do have an issue with him. His takes are very poor. I don't mind that he makes hot takes because hot takes is what makes the world fucking go round. You need hot takes. You need debate in sports. It is the best part about sports. But when you're saying like LeBron James isn't a top 5 player of all time, just don't talk anymore, dude. That's how I feel.
This man should be banned from television.
Why are you banging?
Okay,
This
why?
guy is a fucking idiot.
He thinks he's too good.
I've
at
never
basketball.
heard him take one good take. He's a fucking Boston Celtics bias.
Yes.
He thinks he's way better than he ever will be. He should fucking be put in his place.
Yes.
KD and D Wade are both better than him. He should shut his mouth.
Really?
LeBron is easily top 5. And don't ever disrespect my Milwaukee Bucks again.
Oh my god, that was passionate.
Yeah.
Wow, hold on, listen.
Fuck Paul Pierce.
No. 100% Paul Pierce, if you're listening, don't listen again. Bye. That's all I'm
He
going to
shouldn't
say.
even
But
have any fucking
wait,
social
listen.
media.
Paul Pierce,
Nothing.
I know we're talking about hated athletes, and Paul Pierce is kind of an athlete, but we're kind of talking about him. I actually loved Paul Pierce on the court, fierce competitor, NBA level, had the skill level that Grayson Allen did
Totally
not
agree.
have,
Great
which
competitor.
is why I respected Paul Pierce a little more. But when it comes to the analyst game, horrible. But
Terrible.
all right.
Terrible.
But when it comes to bad analysts, you can't have the conversation without bringing up Booger McFarland. I mean, he looks like a peanut. He's a big peanut. His head is way too big for his body. He sounds like he has a stuffy nose every time he talks. And I don't know, dude. He just
Listen.
This man is ruined right
Listen.
football.
Put aside his looks. He's drawn about 4 or 5 dicks when he's drawn on the mini screen on live television, where he's like circling defenses and then
Is he
putting
like-
them out up top
are
on
these
the
like- are these
in the
hits?
4-3 zone. He needs to have some awareness with what he's drawing.
He needs to have
on
awareness.
the screen. He doesn't know. Is he not looking at what he's drawing?
No, his awareness-
He's drawing about 4 or 5 penises.
Scorno, just disregard the penis drawing. Booger McFarland doesn't know anything about football. You watch him, what he says about the game while the game is happening, it's just terrible.
I couldn't agree more.
Agreed.
He disregard his terrible drawings. He doesn't know. For being an NFL player, it's like he's never watched football.
He's poor. He's
idiotic.
poor at his job. I agree. You know what? We're done with Booger McFarland. I'm done with him. He's annoying. He's an annoying character. He's not even a real analyst when it comes to that. So you know what? We're gonna shift gears. We went from the football analyst Booger McFarland. We're gonna go for the man who, I mean, he's on the list. I personally don't hate him, Rudy Gobert, and here's why. Here's all I'm gonna say. I think what he did for the NBA, I think low key that because he had contracted the virus early was a good thing. I think he shut it down early and saved a lot of players from contracting the virus. Yes, he might have shut it down so we were robbed of that, like, Sacramento Kings game at that 10 p.m. slot that night that we didn't get to see. I would have loved to saw De'Aaron Fox.
That was wild.
Skirt up that court like a motherfucker. But that's not the point. I think he saved a lot of people, and I respect Rudy, but there are people who dislike him for what he did, and it's understandable.
How dim in the head do you have to be to go around, like, breathing and, like, touching all, like, the microphones and all that? And he just... He brought it on to himself, really. Yep. And especially gave it to his main man, teammate, Don Mitch. And it honestly may have hurt their relationship a bit.
Well, he was just being very immature. Like, he didn't know what was going on, and he definitely did not do the right things in the moment to affect what was going on. And, you know, everyone deserves a second chance. He learned from it. He apologized, and I think we should give him a break on this one.
Do you think the Utah Jazz are done forever? Do you think Donovan Mitchell and Gobert are done?
No.
I wouldn't say that, but I think his actions are inexcusable. That was...
The chemistry.
Professional athletes are supposed to be role models, and that is an awful way to represent yourself.
It's childish.
This virus is not a joke, and Rudy Gobert completely made a joke of it. And while everyone in the Utah Jazz organization says that their relationships have been mended, I'm not so sure about that. I guess we'll see when the season restarts if they have some chemistry issues.
Totally agreed. I think that regardless of how early on this was in the whole virus progression, the way he handled it was just terrible. He had the exact symptoms of the virus, and he pretended like he was just immune because he was, I'm Rudy Gobert, I'm an NBA player, I can't get the virus. And he just went around touching everything, hugging his teammates. Complete idiot move. No respect for Rudy Gobert anymore.
It was very early on, which I'm not giving any excuse for, but it was early on in the coronavirus, and people were careless about it. But now he learned from that, and he apologized for his actions, so he's gonna be a better person from this.
It's gonna be interesting to see what, if the NBA does return, what that team will look like.
Yeah, definitely.
They're thinking about returning late July. What is Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell going to look like on the court together? It's interesting.
It's going to be a sight to see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. All right, you know what? We've been talking basketball, football, but we haven't really said anything about the MLB. So we're going to bring a very, for some reason, a lot of hate comes to this player. I think he's a dope dude. I mean, he's cool all around, good-looking dude, probably fucks a lot of chicks, to be honest. I don't really see the hate for him. He's a 5'2" player. He's one of the best in the league. Went to college at Southern Nevada, which is he didn't go to a big university. He was always a legend, high school legend, to be honest. All right, ranting too much, but this man's Bryce Harper. There's been a lot of hate around him for some reason. I think he's in the contention for Gatorade Player of the Year, year after year. He's one of the dopest athletes in the world. He's almost a household name, if he's not a household name at this point already. I really don't understand the hate for him. But if anyone has anything else to say, let me hear it.
You go, Gio. You got this.
Bryce Harper's fight against Hunter Strickland, it was definitely interesting to see the fire on Bryce Harper, which I loved. But man, that helmet toss, that went all the way down the third base line. Come on, get it on aim. That was a very weak move. And
he tends to be a crybaby. I do see that.
It's like he wanted to miss.
It was very soft.
I definitely see that. He's needs to be perfect. Is the way he lives his life. Mm-hmm. But by the looks of the man, he's fucking goddamn close.
He's close.
He's goddamn
Great
close.
Baseball player.
Great looking dude. Also, I'm pretty sure he's married. He's married.
Yep.
I mean, phenomenal dude. I mean, he just looks like a family man.
Yeah.
If I were to say, he had the expectations to be the next Babe Ruth. I saw YouTube videos of him when he was about 14 years old, and he was labeled the next Babe Ruth. I would say he's lived up to those expectations.
I agree. Usually the next phenoms, like Gabe McCabe or whatever the fuck Gabe McCabe, is that his name? Jordan McCabe. Jordan McCabe, guard, West Virginia, was when he was 15, had the maddest handles ever, was labeled the next phenom. I mean, he got a scholarship to West Virginia. Kudos to that guy. He's a great baller, but he's not Michael Jordan, LeBron James. When people compared Bryce Harper to Babe Ruth, like, Bryce Harper ended up going through the system. He made the MLB, and he's an all-star year after year.
Is he a winner?
Is he a winner?
Guys, is he a winner?
Okay, it's hard to say that with the MLB. MLB is different.
I don't know.
One player does not determine a game
100%.
unless you're a pitcher.
I agree, but I don't think he can be labeled as a great. He's never won anything in his life.
I don't think it matters in
Okay.
MLB. Least the sport that it matters the
100%,
least in
but
winning. Mike Trout's the best of all time.
But listen,
I don't know.
to argue in his favor, although he wasn't on the team, he had a great impact on all the Washington Nationals that won the Major League World Series. I mean, this might sound crazy because he wasn't on the team, but the 6-7 years he was on the team, he made every single person on that team better than they were before.
Yeah, but
And I would credit him with a part in winning that World Series.
yeah, but when Harper's gone, like, all of a sudden they make all these crazy undefeated, like, underdog wins, and that's without Harper.
I will say it's less that it was without Harper and more that they had the money to spend. Bryce Harper, I mean, regardless of it being Bryce Harper or not, no MLB player is worth that money because it's such a team game. It's a team-oriented game. Basketball, LeBron could bring you to the finals regardless of your fucking starting five. Bryce Harper could be, it doesn't matter. You need a solid lineup throughout. Unless you have dominant pitching, individual players don't win. There's a reason Mike Trout has won one playoff series in his life. I don't even know if he won the series. He made the playoffs once, maybe. He's not. I mean, that's my take on that. I don't understand the hate from Bryce Harper. I think he's a great player. And you know what? We're going to go a little different. Bryce Harper, MLB legend. We're going to go to not a legend in the wrong way. He was not known, irrelevant. Only like fantasy football owners really understood who this guy was. And then there was a playoff series against the Philadelphia Eagles, if you guys remember, Chicago Bears. In Chicago, the double doink I was at this game personally. Honestly, I think it took 3 years off my life. The most miserable experience I've ever had in my life.
Shell. Don't even say this man's name. This is the Voldemort of football.
Cody Parkey for those.
Mr. Double Doink had to do this to us.
Yeah, he killed Chicago.
I've never felt a harder heartache in my life.
Oh my god.
I will disagree.
Let me hear
For
it.
those that don't know, we're talking about Cody Parkey, the kicker of the Chicago
Yes.
Bears.
He
Not
missed
currently.
Not
he missed
anymore.
a 43-yard field goal, however long it was,
Yeah.
in the Windy
Bum.
City in December.
Bum.
But let's
He's
not
a
forget
bum.
that Mitchell Trubisky was awful for 3 quarters. This game could have easily been over.
Easily.
And this quarterback sucks. I agree. Cody Parkey missed the game-winning field goal. 100%. But come on.
The game's not all his fault.
The team scored 15 points. The quarterback was atrocious. Maybe, what do you throw? 2
Bad.
picks? Could have been 7.
Coming from
Awful.
Chicago Bears fans, Mitchell Trubisky is probably one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history, to be honest. Like, he actually is horrible. He wasn't good in college. He wasn't good in the pros. He's literally done nothing. I don't know why he was the second overall pick in any draft. I don't care if it's Madden. I don't care if it's actual life. I don't care if it's fantasy. It doesn't matter. He should never be second overall in anything. He's not even second overall in worst quarterbacks because he would be first overall in that. But when it comes to the Bears game against the Eagles in the playoffs, kicking matters. Kicking is a huge element of the game. I don't understand why teams take it for granted in the first place, which is something I will never understand. But Cody Parkey missing that kick became, if he made it, he would become not the most loved player, not the most loved guy in Chicago. He would be still like a good dude, but I've never seen one kick turn a guy into the biggest villain in a city. He was a villain.
After the game against the Denver Broncos, when he made a game-winning, what was it, 54-yard kick?
Something like that.
I almost bought a Cody Parkey jersey. He was a legend for a minute.
Yeah,
And
no,
this-
he can kick the fuck out of the ball. But he fucked up, and where it mattered, you get paid to win games. You don't get paid to lose games. Obviously it would not have mattered if you missed the kick in the second quarter. But when it comes down, pressure on the line, you have the opportunity to win the game, to put the Bears almost to the fucking promised land. And you blow it like that, it's tough. He's obviously a villain for everyone in Chicago. And we're going to take another huge right turn.
By the way, complete brain fart by me. It wasn't Cody Parker that had the game-winning field goal against the Broncos. That was Eddie Pinheiro. Season later.
Yeah,
my bad.
It doesn't matter. Cody Parkey sucks. One of the most hated athletes we have. I'm going to completely change this conversation, to be honest, and we're going to go to a highly, highly, highly controversial athlete, and I'm going to go Lance Armstrong. I don't like the guy. Don't juice to ride bicycles. I know. I heard that it's for his lungs or whatever. Don't juice to ride a bicycle. Tour de France, I don't care about Tour de Juice. Doesn't matter to me. Don't do that shit. That's not cool. I'd rather you booze and get fucked up drunk than you pump. Just go to the gym and pump iron. Don't go to the gym and pump needles. I'm not about that. None of us here at Buzzer Heaters are about that. That's not the move. Lance Armstrong, hated athlete.
I totally agree. There's a moral and ethical guideline that comes with being a star athlete, and yeah, he just totally broke that code.
Not about it.
I think, it's a really bad look on him and for the sport. That doesn't get a lot of love anyway. And before that time, he was considered an American role model, and I think that's all gone to waste, and it's just really sad to hear that he would do this kind of thing.
I agree. I'm a hater. This one hits home for me. Growing up, I used to wear the Lance Strong orange armband every single day. This guy was a hero to me. He overcame cancer. He came back and won the Tour de France. After hearing he was cheating, he was taking steroids, it broke my heart. It kills me to know that this guy was a fraud, and I can't get over that. I know he at home, he's at heart, in his heart, he's a good guy, but I can't respect him. He's a hated athlete in my books.
I don't hate him for this reason. He did something that's not allowed in the sport, but he was just a guy that got put into a tough spot when it came to what he was doing with his body, because he was doing doping, which is illegal for cycling. But then he started getting fame as his success story was told around the nation. But he wasn't able to keep up his cycling abilities if he didn't continue to dope. So he was in a trap of constantly lying and doping, and that's why I don't hate Lance Armstrong.
All right, you know what? I take that. That's a fair point. And you know what? We're going to get into our final take of the day, which is the Olympic podium. So what this means is we are going to give a bronze medal, a silver medal, and a gold medal to the most hated athletes discussed on today's podcast. So today, I think the bronze medal for most hated athlete, honestly, I think it has to go to Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce, not athlete, but terrible analyst. He just did not get it done. Was honestly horrible. Silver medal. What do you guys think?
Booger.
I think it's got to be Booger.
Booger's gotta be the gold.
No.
I don't think he's a big enough name to be gold. But
All right, silver medal is going to Booger McFarland.
So silver medal.
Worst analyst we've all heard on
Booger
TV.
McFarland. So our third and second were both analysts, which is poor because this is hated athletes, and those guys were Booger McFarland wasn't a respected athlete, but Paul Pierce was so respected as a Boston Celtic legend, and then he just kind of ruined his career.
I think it's really diminished his legacy.
It 100% has. And with the gold medal winner for the Buzzer Heaters, biggest villains, it's got to be Grayson Allen. It's got to be Grayson Allen. That guy, we talked a lot about him. Horrible role model on the court.
Punk.
I love his tenacity, but there were guys like Peyton Seval, Aaron Kraft, Perry Ellis, Trey Burke. When they were in college, on the court, they worked hard. Shabazz Napier, another one. Those were similar type players where they worked hard on the court, they got their buckets, and they made their teammates better without causing issues. Grayson Allen did not do that, caused issues. So Grayson Allen will win the Buzzer Heaters gold medal for the most hated athlete.
There are some people that are problem solvers and others that are problem starters.
Yeah.
Grayson Allen, definitely a problem starter.
So that being said, that's our episode of Buzzer Heaters. We're going to shout out our sponsors. We actually currently have no sponsors, but we would like to be sponsored by a couple. Lay's Chips Barbecue. Unbelievable. When you eat a Lay's Chip Barbecue, you want to toss it back with a Corona. Nothing like it. Dude Wipes. I mean, when you're taking a dump on a squatty potty, another sponsor, by the way, when you take a dump, you want to wipe with Dude Wipes. And our final one, again, has been one of the sponsors we've been longing for forever, has been Manscaped. We want the Lawnmower 3.0. If you don't have a clean bush, you're not going to have clean oral sex. Like, it's just an issue there. And you know what? That's a problem these days. And, like, women don't like it. And you need to be more confident. Why not wear it with confidence? That's all I'm going to say.
Sayonara.
Signing off with the Buzzer Heaters podcast. Shout us out on Twitter. We are at Buzzer Heaters. Instagram at Buzzer Heaters. And you know what? Peacing out. This was our 4th episode.
Peace out.
GG's.